guys, so before I get started, I just want to apologize for the awful lighting in here. I'm trying to use natural light, which is pretty bad right now, but if I try to use my ring light, it just glares on the tanks and makes everything even worse. So bear with the lighting on this video. Today, I just wanted to give you guys a little update on my gerbils. If you watched my All My Pets video that I posted like last week, you noticed that my gerbils cage looked absolutely awful and they're actually split up right now. And that is what I wanted to talk about today. So I'm just going to tell you guys exactly what happened and why, and then I'll get out of the way and show you the cage in more detail. But for right now, I just want to tell you why my gerbils are split up. So as you guys probably know, my gerbils have been together forever. I bought them together. I'm pretty sure they were litter mates. But sometimes gerbils, even though they should live together, sometimes they will do what is called declanning, where they will start fighting and you have to separate them. And unfortunately, about 2 weeks ago, just suddenly one morning, Chicken and Waffles decided they didn't want to get along anymore. They were perfectly fine the night before. It was weird because usually you read about there being signs beforehand. And if there were signs, I just completely missed them. This is my first time having gerbils. But I woke up on a Monday morning and noticed they were going crazy. Waffles, my little gray gerbil, was actually chasing Chicken, my black and white gerbil, all around the cage. There was a tiny bit of blood on both of their noses, which was pretty worrying because I read that once gerbils draw blood, it's pretty much impossible usually to get them to go back together. So I saw this and I separated them as quick as I could. I didn't have an extra aquarium or anything. I only had an extra bin cage, but I didn't want to throw one into a bin because they could chew through it really quick. So what I did is I got Mr. Fluffy Butt, my Syrian hamster. I put him in the extra bin cage and then I moved one of the gerbils into his aquarium. So they did have to live separated for about a week until I had time to go to the store and make this really bad little divider. I don't have any tools or anything, so I just had to work with what I could and make a little divider for them, and that is what they're in right now. So what this is, it's called the split cage method. This video is definitely not going to be like a tutorial of what you should technically do if your gerbils start fighting. Just because this is my first time owning gerbils, this is my first time trying to do this, so I definitely don't know exactly what I'm doing. I'm just going off what I have read and what I've seen in videos. So this video is more just me telling you and showing you what I'm doing, just as kind of like one resource. But if your gerbils are fighting, definitely go out and do a lot more research. Don't just do what I'm doing because hopefully it will work out, but like I said, this is my first time doing it. So after I was able to make this little separator, I have had them in this cage. It's only been about a week now and they're actually doing it really, really well. I don't have really any bedding in here, as you can tell, which usually isn't good for gerbils. But when they're in a split cage, you want the cage to be super boring. That way they get bored, they want to see each other. You don't want to give them too much to burrow in, too much to do, because then they won't need each other. So right now they only have a couple inches of aspen wood shavings. I did put some softer bedding in there too, hoping they would make some nice fluffy nest, but they just chewed it up and put it everywhere. They both also had a nice little grass house, but that only lasted them a few days, and then they just have a chew, water bottles, and then I do scatter feed them. So what I have been doing is, like I said, they've been in here for about a week. Once a day, I actually switch them. So right now, Waffles is in this side, Chicken is in this side, and then later tonight, I would switch them to the opposite side. This makes sure that they get used to each other's scents and they have to sleep in each other's nest, and it just makes them get used to each other a little bit faster. From what I've read, doing this method can take anywhere from a week to work, it could take months to work, or sometimes you unfortunately can't even put your gerbils back together. But I'm super happy to say it's only been a week and I'm going to try to put them back together. I've seen some really great signs in this first week. When I first separated them, Waffles was going crazy. She was running at the wire, biting at it, really trying to get to Chicken. But lately they've been like sleeping closer to the wire and just really interested in each other and not in an aggressive way at all. So hopefully I'm going to be putting them back together. I am going to try at the end of this video. So before I try to put them back together, let me just show you a quicker look at their cage and how I split it. So there is still quite a bit of glare, but you can see Chicken digging right there, but not in an aggressive way at all. She does this in her normal cage too. But Chicken is in this half of the cage. This is a 40-gallon breeder. And then Waffles is over in this half, and you can actually see she is sitting right there up against the wire trying to be close to Chicken. So like I said, they both just have a little bit of bedding. They both have a glass water bottle and a little chew. And now I'll give you a closer look at my very homemade first try divider. It doesn't look good, but it worked. So here is what my divider looked like. Like I said, it doesn't look that great, but it has been working. Unlike a lot of people who divide their cage, I actually didn't attach this to the aquarium because I was hoping I wouldn't have to have it in long, but it is just really, really tight in here so they can't move it, but it's not attached in any way. So what I did is I just took a little bit of this hardware mesh. This is the same mesh I use for my bin cages. I actually pulled this off an old bin cage, so I didn't have to go buy some more. I just cut that to the size I needed, and then I got these little pieces of wood. These are just some little wood sticks that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I stapled the wire to those and then wrapped the wire around. That way they couldn't actually get to the wood because I'm sure they would chew the wood really, really fast. And then I just put that in there really tight. Like I said, it's pretty tight so they cannot move it at all. And then of course I did end up cutting it a little tiny bit too short, and I didn't want to leave a little gap. It was probably only about 1/4 of an inch or so up here, but the gerbils would climb this and I didn't want to risk it. So what I did is I took a paint stirrer stick, I broke it in half, and then I covered it in duct tape and I put it up here. That way when I close the lid, it does make a nice solid contact so they can't squeeze through. Once again, doesn't look very good, but it has been doing its job. So this is my makeshift divider. If you think you're gonna have your cage divided a lot longer, there are definitely some better tutorials on how to make this. This is just what I did very last minute with no help or no tools or anything, and it's worked so far. So like I said, my gerbils have only been in this split cage for a week, but they've been doing it really, really well. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and take this divider out and see what they do. I'm not going to put any extra bedding or anything in here yet, just in case I do have to split them up. I thought today would be a good day to do it because it is the weekend. That way I can stay home and watch them for a few hours and see how it's going to go. As you can see, Waffles is climbing up right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out and we will see how they do. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out. Hopefully this is a decent angle and you guys will be able to see. I do have this dustpan with me in case they do start to fight. I can break them up very easily with that and I won't get bit. So I'm just going to pop this out. It is in here pretty tight, like I said, so they couldn't move it. So let's see. They haven't been together for about 2 weeks now. So we will see how they do. So they probably are gonna like not fight, but just get used to each other a little bit. So I'm not gonna break them up yet just because they're smelling each other, getting used to each other. As long as they don't start really fighting, this is probably a good sign. So I'm just gonna watch them for a while and see what they do. So they've only been in the cage for about 5 minutes or so, but I haven't seen any signs of aggression at all so far, which is a really good sign. I'm definitely going to be keeping a very close eye on them for the rest of the day. If it does work out tonight, I'm not going to put any more bedding in their cage still for a couple days just to make sure everything is going well. I did go ahead and scatter feed them a little bit. That way they are distracted, they're trying to find food, and they're not too worried about each other right now. So that is it for today's video. Like I said, this is in no way like what to do if your gerbils start fighting. This is just the first time I've owned gerbils and the first time it's happened to me, so I thought I would document this and just share it with you guys, let you know that it's not always perfect with any pet. A lot of times you see pet YouTubers and they just show you all the fun stuff with their pets, all the good stuff, but stuff does go on behind the scenes. Some stuff's not so great, so I just wanted to share that with you guys today. Of course, my camera just died right when I was trying to end this video, but like I was trying to say, if you want to keep up with them and know how they are doing, if I had to re-split them up or anything, make sure you follow me on all my other social medias because I usually post on there a lot more often. I have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I don't use Facebook that often, but definitely Twitter is the best place to keep up to date. Hopefully they do good and I'll only have good updates on there, but you never know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any more tips or suggestions for me for getting my gerbils back together, let me know down in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already so you don't miss my upcoming videos, and I'll see you guys next time.